Hello, I'd like to make today Lego cake Star-Lord from Guardians of Galaxy. So I'm using silicone Lego minifig shape. Can be purchased from eBay, and you can purchase and use for many different minifigs. This sort of silicone baking basically shape. And I use here is a butter cake. Of course you can use any cake of your choice or use your favorite. And what we do is we mix and bake according to instruction on the box, as well as if you're not sure how to use silicone Lego minifig shape, please do have a look on my video, which is I explain how to use it and bake it in it. So once we bake it, next step is to let it cool and level our cake to make sure it's flat and we can place it on our cake board. So once we place on a cake board, what you do is with a nice sharp serrated knife trim all everywhere around cake to make sure it's nice and neat, does not have any extra cake sticking out. So once you trim it, we just using one of vanilla frosting containers, and we just apply all over frosting all over cake. So once it's done, good idea is to place a little bit extra on top of head, because we want to create this hair for Star-Lord. So what we do is next, we set aside because it's frosted and prepared now. We're using one box of ready to roll icing. Of course you can use fondant. 1 kilogram of fondant would be enough, and knead on your working surface until it's manageable and soft, and then we can will transfer on top our cake. Sprinkle working surface a little bit with powdered icing sugar to prevent sticking, and once it's larger in size that our cake we will transfer. But first of all, what we do is first we basically roll it into sort of shape of our cake, but we will take small piece of it. I tell you why, because we want to place it on top of head of Star-Lord to create hair on top before we actually transfer whole fondant on top of cake. Once you roll out your fondant in a size bigger than your cake, transfer on top. And what we do is let's form our cake nice and slow. If your hands a little bit sticking to cake, just apply powdered icing sugar to prevent sticking. So nicely all patterns have to be done before we trimming. And what we do is just a little bit neck obviously need to be done. And what we do is here, as you can see, we have here fondant still. Basically before trimming we want to create hair. So what we do is we just form, as you can see, we will form here from this we even take it extra piece of fondant for support our hair, just to make sure it's standing nicely, because we want later to make mask as well on top. And what we do is we start slowly shape it here as a look of the starlord. Once we finish with shaping here, we trim away all extras of fondant with a serrated knife. Let's shape here first. Once you finish forming here, what you can do if you struggle a little bit to make them straight, just a cut piece of fondant and place underneath for support. After, use back of brush to create pinch for start end of fondant, and then you can just simply make it sort of create patterns of the starlord. That's how it's look like now. So next step is may I just look it? Yep, you're able to see it. That's good. And basically, next step is we trim away all extras around our cake. Good idea also to make sure our neck in order. Nice, because the brush is so round, it's very good to sort of nicely and carefully make it neck and without damaging fondant. Next step is whatever left over from trimmings of fondant, re-roll it and make this sort of type strip which is cut with kitchen scissors to create the part of mask. That's one part, and another one comes in the kind of three parts which is connected this way. So what we do is first we're using or sugar syrup or very small amount of water, and let's have a look. Did I actually place it here? Where? And we place the first part, stick nicely right on top of here. And next is to use probably a little bit smaller brush. We just a little bit place some water or sugar syrup, does not matter what you're using, it will stick. So we place the first part right here, and this is just make two little worms basically and cut them, and make sure one end a little bit smaller than another, because it makes a little bit easier to make right pattern. So what we do is now we simply stick them in this order as a starlord mask has it. And what we do is we start basically draw all the patterns on top of our clothes and a face. You can use something big brush because it's not very sharp, or you can use toothpick. As well as once you've done that, we can use food edible decorating pen and go over it, or you can use gel food coloring, same colors as you need to apply, and let it dry, and then we can paint it all over cake. But firstly, do patterns. Once you finish with all your patterns, what you do is outline them with food edible decorating pen, just like that, or simply use gel food coloring and apply with very small brush or with toothpick. Let it dry and then apply all rest of colors. As you can see here, our patterns is done now, and apply all the patterns what you need, because it makes easier for you to see what you have on your cake to create. And next, for the mask, I use actually edible silver paint. It can be purchased from Cake Around Town. It's called .com.au, but I will place this site in my description box if you like to purchase one. But if you do not really worry about it, you can easily replace by have white and black gel food coloring. And what you do is simply mix it together, white and black gel food color, to create gray color, which can be good replacement for the silver, create a gray appearance for the mask. Use red liquid or red gel food coloring for the eyes, and put around black around, not eyes, it's kind of like a mask part. So what we do is, next we use gray coloring to create some of clothes, and next is we will apply all the gold glaze, can be purchased in the same W site as well. It need to be shaken very well, or use simply yellow liquid food coloring or yellow gel food coloring apply for the mask. For the hair, we will use ivory gel food coloring straight from the container. And for the rest of patterns, pants will be black and top. I think what I will do, I don't want to really make it really red, because it's not sort of red, it's like a more cherry color. So what I will do is place red liquid food coloring. You can do something with a gel food coloring, and add little tiny amount of black to make it a little bit darker shades of red, and we apply for rest of clothes. So probably a good idea if we will finish with hair first. As you can see, I take straight from the container, and we will create a hair of Star-Lord. This color will resembles his hair. So let's apply this first. Now we finish decorating our Star-Lord, and as you can see, we created a rustic type of look of his clothes, which is we mix red liquid food coloring and with very small amount of black liquid food coloring. As I said before, you can easily create something by adding red gel food coloring with small bit of a black, and add a little bit of alcohol or clear alcohol, like clear vodka or water, and to just basically apply. You can create this kind of rustic look of his clothes, as well as you don't really have to, you just simply can use red liquid food coloring or red gel food coloring diluted with clear liquid. And for the mask, as you can see, we use yellow liquid food coloring. It's just easier. And for the hair, we use ivory gel food coloring applied straight from the box. I hope you do like this sort of a creation of Star-Lord from the Guardians of the Galaxy. And you can of course use any patterns or different type of the minifigure, because some of them has one pattern, some of has another patterns, which is just use your favorite, and basically, and you can even print it from internet, and using this as your guidance. I hope you do like this creation of Star-Lord, and thank you very much for your time with me today. Everything will be in the description box what I was using, and thank you very much. Until next time, goodbye.